Warning: this podcast may contain spoilers as well as coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright, what's up, fam-a-lam? It's your boy, Funkmaster Bex. Not Mozilla, because his computer is dead at the moment, so I'm going to be hosting Violet Everweekly right now. With me today, I have Smurfrock Rune.
I am back to insult all the KyoAni fans.
All of them? Like,
literally all of them.
Wow, that is...
Even the ones that don't listen to the podcast, they're just gonna feel like a disturbance of the force.
It's kind of like how you step on a crack and you break your mother's back or something. Like, she's not even have to be there. Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy. We have Dr. J. Wilson.
Ohio. I know it's not morning, but it is in my head now. So,
do you live in Ohio or?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Nice. And we've got Ty Boss.
Yeah, hi. I'm the obligatory source reader. And you might remember me from the fall podcast, the fall section of the 2017 podcast. I was the guy who just rambled and rambled and rambled, and I hope not to do that this time. But I'm already doing it right now. I can't stop. Next, take over. Say something, go.
All right. So I guess we're going to talk about episode 10 of Violet Evergarden. So let's start with Smurf, because I know he likes it, but he has qualms with it.
Yeah, so I liked it overall. Some of my issues with it were just like how long it took. It didn't feel like it needed to how can I say this? It didn't feel like something that should have fit a full episode. It should have been like 15 minutes maybe. There was a lot of Anne just being generally annoying and crying
like
all the
real
time
children
and yelling at Violet. Well, I don't like children, so that probably
so
has to do
like
with
the
it, but...
montage with the kid and Violet was kind of long, where they were just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, I just felt like it was kind of long, and I knew from the beginning that I didn't know it was gonna be letters to her every year, but I expected it to be like her mom's will or something. I knew her mom was gonna
expecting
die.
a will too.
I knew it was gonna be something related to her mom's death. So the whole time she's just like, "Why won't you tell me? Why won't you tell me?" I'm like, I already know why. Like, let's just get to that, or let's go. You know.
And we can start with the obligatory source reader comment. The source did it better. In some cases, it didn't do it better. Like episode 7, if you remember, everyone liked that. That was way worse in the light novel.
Which one was
But
7?
now,
Was that the play
with
guy?
the writer.
Okay, yeah.
With the writer, yeah. That was way worse. He was way more pathetic. Violet wasn't also the one who jumped into the lake out of her own volition, but he was basically backed by the guy to do that. But relating to this episode, the letters, there's a red herring for the letters, and that is that her dad is still alive, and not dead like he's in the anime, where he died in the war. But he's actually like a deadbeat. Let's just, the narration describes that he had like a company, his family had a company, and it went into ruins. And it broke him kind of financially, and he's gone most of the time, and when he comes, he just takes paintings or vases and sells them because apparently he has to gamble or something. He has a gambling habit or something. And the narration also says that he did not come once since her mother had gone ill. So Anne immediately assumes that when she talks about, oh, I can't let you write the letters, or it's someone far away. Oh, it's to dad, isn't it? It's to father, isn't it? Why are you still hung up with him? He doesn't love us. He's gone. Please. Why don't you spend time with me instead of thinking of him? And, it's a red herring, obviously. And some savvy readers will, of course, be able to see through that. It's presented as a valid and actually possible option, so some readers certainly fell for that, would have fallen for that. I can't speak for them.
But, I feel like I can see how that's like better writing, but I feel like it would annoy me more.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. So like my answer is that, okay, so I knew the letters for her the entire time. Like there's this really old, it's not that old, but it's a sappy movie called P.S. I Love You, and it has the exact same kind of like story to it, where like, husband dies but he leaves behind these gifts that come to her every year, blah blah blah. So as soon as I noticed that she was writing a whole bunch of letters, she was really sick, she got a cute daughter, I knew that was going on. However, I think that the fact that the red herring doesn't exist this time makes it better. Because I think because you're not so focused on that could be a possibility, and if that did happen, it'd be really dumb. You're kind of in this headspace of like, oh, look at this kid who, you know, is still naive and doesn't really know what's going on. And I think that allows you to connect and like feel for her more in the end. At least that's what happened for me.
Right. I mean, I thought the ending when she actually got the letters was excellent. I thought that was amazingly done.
Yeah,
I even cried a little bit at it, and I basically don't cry at anime much. There's like a handful of times, maybe like 5 or 6.
I actually cried. My mother was in the other room and was desperately trying, hoping that she would not get in and ask like, "Hey, why are you crying?" Oh, just because
right.
that mother in that anime show is such a heartwarming, loving mother, just like you, which is, by the way, sincerely meant.
Right.
Because, yeah, I don't want her to know.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
man. Yeah. I mean, I watched anime with a friend, so we were watching through a screen sharing service, and I was just like, he was like, well, that was pretty good. I just had to like type to him on Steam, like, hey, give me a moment.
Absolutely, yeah. I even cried in the light novel, so yeah. It was that heartwarming.
Yeah, but
I-
the thing
I
is,
felt-
I think you need that build up though, because I don't think it would have worked. Because say it's 15 minutes, right? That means you have to tack it at the end of like another like episodic story part or put in something.
Well,
I-
I don't mean like. I mean, obviously they had to fill a whole episode. I just mean like, if the like restrictions of the TV anime format weren't there,
Perhaps if it
I
was
feel
a
like
short
this should have
film,
been shorter.
You might like this more.
A short film, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I can see
maybe.
that.
I mean, I understand. I'm not saying like they should have just done 6 extra minutes of commercials instead to make this better. Like, I mean, I think it was. They did the best they could. It was just like a gripe I had with it.
Yeah. Another thing that I found amazing about the ending scenes is that I actually hate the ending song of Violet Evergarden because it's
Does
just.
anyone else think it sounds like Hatsune Miku?
I don't know how
but
to make
it
it sounds
it's
like.
I don't remember the ending song.
They had Mino Hichira sing it and
It's
use her
basically-
worst voice.
It's the same singer that did the Kyokai no Kanata ED.
Oh, I know it now.
Don't even
I
remember.
I can hear it
Opening.
so
Oh, is that
clearly.
the one that like everyone loves or something?
It has excellent transitions, but the song overall, I'm not
Isn't
a
it
huge
called
fan
like
of.
Daisy or something?
I think so.
We know Mino Hichira can sing amazing endings, like the Haori movie ending, like Abioyaku no.
Oh, that's her. Yeah.
No, it
Yeah.
has another name, but like that's amazing song, and it's fully a cappella. It's just her voice, and it's beautiful. And I wish she had used that voice for this song because it would have worked so much better. But no, it's her voice. I just don't like it. And the fact that it did not bother me at all during this scene shows how well it worked. Maybe with a bit more powerful music, like episode 7 was was a lot enhanced, that scene, that lake scene, by the music that was playing. But this is not a music podcast, so.
So I kind of want to bring something up. So last episode, people were talking about how it felt like a finale. You know, like there's a certain bit of finality to it, and it felt like the series was basically over. Like, you know, where are they going to go from here? But the thing is, I kind of disagreed with that because it's following a very, simple story structure adapted from a novel, where, the climax is not always at the end. There's always a significant amount of time afterwards. And I think...
Continue.
Okay,
I think
okay.
I don't think he's saying for the Violet Evergarden source. I think he's just saying like just books in general.
Yeah, I'm saying in general, yeah. It's just typical story structure. You have, the denouement and then the rising action, climax, all that. So what I think is happening is I think Violet's, main growth in story is a little bookended. Like, she's developed as a character and she is this now. And then what's going on here is that we're seeing her react to these new feelings and new things that she's learned. And you can see about at the end of the episode, she's talking about how, she had to like hold herself back because she was so sad at, every time she was over there, because she knew what was going on when, Violet from episode 1 would have like never been in that situation.
Right.
While I can understand your what you mean, and I agree that such structures exist, and I'm sorry I have not read or studied literary theory, so I can't say that with conviction. I'd think that like the part after the climax is shorter usually, like not like the whole 4 episodes you're claiming it has, but like 2 or 1 episodes like as an epilogue or something. Or 1 chapter if the whole book is like 18 chapters or something. Like, not like that a whole third of the book is the thing that happens after the climax.
I mean, it is shorter, but it's not like, it's not even like, I'm not even talking about like an epilogue, because that's after the conclusion, you know? I don't know, there usually is like a main climactic event, and then in like an epic, it would be like the hero going out and then winning the battle and then coming back. And sometimes that's even like a whole novel, but that's I digress.
Yeah.
What color?
I can't think of any examples, but I feel like I've read books, where like it ends, or I mean, I don't read because I'm dumb, but like,
many would agree with you.
A lot of people would agree with that. But like I've read things where like I keep saying read, but that's not right. Like watched or something where the guy does something and then there's like a decent chunk after of just whatever. Like I would say like maybe like I don't know, Clannad or Clannad just in general. Like there's a climax at the end of season 1, and then season 2 starts with a lot of just stuff, like after the climax. And then there's another climax later, but I mean there is still like a section after. There's a decent chunk like after climax still.
I can see that.
Not a great example.
The beginning of After Story is basically just continued Clannad, but yeah.
But then, like, there's like big moments at the end of the first season.
For sure.
Yeah, but that's a season.
It's not a great example,
like the second season is the sequel, not like it's.
I know.
They're definitely better examples
but
you could come
to jump
up
off. To jump off of that, so do you think we'll be keeping this style for the rest of like however like what 4 episodes that remain? These kind of like episodic like. Because there's very much less focus on Violet.
I think we'll have more conflict, like big conflict.
Really, in like the last, because this show is supposed to be like what 13 episodes or 14?
It's marked as 14,
but I doubt it's 14.
I think someone on a previous podcast said it'll probably be 13 and an OVA because the people got the 14 from the amount of episodes on the Blu-ray.
Right. Okay.
So
I don't know.
Enough time for like a big major arc.
I don't know if it's a spoiler to say. Is it a spoiler to do speculation based on something in the OP?
No, I don't
Nope.
think so.
That's
I think
So
most people that are watching this have probably seen the OP.
it's part of the thing.
The OP shows Gilbert with just a scar. So that leads me to believe that he's not dead and he'll be back, and there'll be another big conflict regarding him.
I can neither confirm nor deny that because I
don't want you to
know.
confirm or deny
I mean,
it.
I simply don't know. I did not read Volume 2. I only read Volume 1. I tried reading Volume 2, but the first chapter is so boring that I could not get across. Like, the first chapter is not with Violet. Like, it's a flashback to the Major's youth as a child, and it's about flowers and stuff, and like, I don't want to read this. I want to read something that's actually interesting. But going by volume...
I saw someone posted a screenshot on the sub a while back. It was a screenshot of Gilbert in the OP. I think it only maybe flashes for just briefly because I don't think I've seen it myself. But it was a picture of Gilbert, face totally clean, and just has a scar and like his right eye closed.
Well, possibly.
And so I'm like, it looks like he's still alive. And the rule in like stories is if you don't see the dead body, they're not dead.
Yeah. Never found the body.
We've never seen the body.
So going by volume 1, we have 2 chapters left unadapted, which are both like one each story.
One episode stories.
One episode stories, yeah. I hate one of those chapters, to be honest. Like,
okay.
Like, I hate them. The other is okay, but I wouldn't rate it as highly as either Chapter 1, The Rider, or Chapter 2, this episode. So, for me, while Evergarden has peaked, it cannot get better than this. It will only go downhill from this.
Till we get the beach episode.
The obligatory beach episode, obviously.
Yeah.
Would Violet sink? I think she would, right? Just like arms
Does
down.
Violet even swim? Like,
I mean, probably
it depends
not.
it depends on how heavy her arms are, and like,
I mean, she has the ability to actually move them. So, like, they're not heavy enough so that her upper body is like put a strain on. Like,
I mean, she's also strong as hell. So,
well,
I don't know.
to
It
be
could be
honest,
like a Piccolo situation.
it could work, but it's
reminds me of like Hoseki. There were arms that were way too heavy for someone. Hoseki no Kuni, if anyone.
yes.
I know
We
Tyson.
remember
that gem of last season.
that
The
hidden gem.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really bad, actually.
So, can we get back to the actual contents of this podcast, this episode of
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
How do you guys feel if Gilbert comes back?
I think he should.
I don't really care either way. I don't think I'd like it either way.
Like in the beginning, like when it first started, I was like, if he's alive, this series actually just drops like 4 points. But you know, no, okay. But I was not very keen on it in the beginning. It's pretty good right now. But I think they can. You know, I trust KyoAni, and they can do it in an interesting way. And I was talking to some people, and I think the one of the best ways to do it would be after like a time skip. Like 5-10 years, Violet's kind of grown into her own, and then like Gilbert just kind of like shows up at her door one day. I think that'd be really cool.
And
An
final
interesting thing we got
episode.
from this episode.
Yeah, right. And this is fade to black, and you're done.
That
An
would
interesting
be so
thing
hilarious.
that we got from this episode is that we did get a time skip, not of Violet, but of Anne. So we know that at least for the next 15 years, that there's not going to be a war.
That is actually another thing that they cut
that makes sense.
out from the light novel is that, of course, as is the book, it's narrated, a flashback. And the final scene, which has her like as 21, 22 or something, she talks to the postman who brings her the letter. And she asks him, like, how many letters are there prepared? And he keeps it a secret, which is why when the anime told me, for 50 years it's going to be, I was actually, wow. That's more than I expected. I expected like 30 years or something. But then she asks him, is she still active? And he says yes. And this is why I would have loved to have this as the actual final episode. And as this goes on, to have like this fade to Leon, like on his expedition, meeting Violet again. And like, I don't know if it's a spoiler because if it's unadapted, but in the light novel they cut out the scene where they meet again, and it's implied that they actually end up together or not. It's a maybe ever after, but they meet again, and they also cut out.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think, since I guess if the light novel, I don't think they said that in the anime if she was still active or not. Although KyoAni likes to mix things.
They
up
didn't
on
mention
us.
her in the time lapse or something.
So it'll be interesting to see, I guess, with the little bit of future information we have, if that could render some future drama like just pointless. Like if we had a drama of like a war about to start again, but we know it didn't happen, so we'll just have like a waste of time.
That's a good point. I can see that. It kind of takes out the suspense from it, because like,
Yeah.
If you look back in episode 10, blah 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 blah.
I'm trying to think of an example I had of that. A friend of mine likes to talk about how she doesn't like when shows basically like the beginning of like Boku no Hero Academia, when this is the story of how I became the #1 hero. She doesn't like that because she goes, well, now I know he's going to be the #1 hero, so it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, like it still matters, but like.
This is the
It takes away
story of
some-
how
It's
the
about
ship
the
called
journey, man.
Titanic sinks.
It's
It's about the journey. She's gonna love that.
Oh man.
We were talking about Suka because of that, because in the beginning they show the like almost like final scene, and then the story starts.
Yeah, okay, I've heard that.
I usually don't have a problem with such in medias res. I think the proper Latin name for that is like in the middle of things. But it's really cool if you have like no context and it's cool and then flashback. But if you have a good memory and you remember what happens, it instantly becomes a spoiler because, that's that guy. Oh, that's that guy. Oh, I wonder if they will fight in the future. when the first.
Well, see, like
scene-
that's why it's important to have that scene, or like what you choose to be carefully done. Because
Yeah.
if you are careful about it, you can set up a lot of like interesting like foreshadowing and like misinterpretation and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Not. I mean, I didn't finish Sukusuka because I thought it was terrible. But the first episode, I've heard that it's like the final scene. At the time, I thought it was a flashback. So I thought it was like, oh, that's the main guy's childhood. Okay, whatever. And then like we go on. And then, so I think that's kind of an interesting way. I think that's kind of like they kind of trick the viewer. So it's not really a spoiler because it's not really what you think it is, at least in my case.
I mean, it's okay if we talk about spoilers because we have the disclaimer, remember?
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about non-Violet Evergarden spoilers too much.
Right.
One thing that this episode of Violet Evergarden reminded me a lot of, it made me think of like Clannad After Story.
Yes, I remember you mentioned
where I
that
have
to
the
me.
same, I have the same feeling about this episode that I do the field scene in After Story, where it's a 10 out of 10 scene surrounded by a 4 or 5 out of 10 anime. Oh.
What scene is your 10? The ending, I guess.
Yeah, like the letters.
I'm still of the mind that you need the build up, because like the entire first part is not just Anne being annoying. Like there's like stages that she goes through. When she first sees Violet, she's like, what the hell is this doll? And then she like warms up to her, and then she thinks she's stealing her away. I don't know.
I don't think we needed the whole she thought she was a doll and not a person.
Yeah, that's a like overtake. I constantly forget words in English I normally perfectly know. It's terrible. It's like
I also forget words in English all the time, and that's the only language I speak.
I did think it was a
I
little
have the
pretentious.
excuse that English is my second language. But what do you want to say, Wilson?
No, that was it.
Okay. So
Just bring it up.
This Violet is the first chapter. So the chapter with the writer actually had the guy think that she was a robot because he was so secluded from reality, from civilization. I meant that when she came from her manner, he thought like, that's how far technology is now. We can now make officially humans who do stuff for you. That's amazing, and it completely like blew his mind when it turned out to that she was human. And I thought that I think that the original light novel author wanted to have like Anne have like a same reaction to like, oh, a doll, a person that does not really act like a human being. Oh, she's so artificial, blah blah blah. Now by chapter 3 or so, it goes away, and yeah. So I think that it's like something a remnant of something that does not make as much sense as it did in the light novel.
Right. Well, it sounds to me like the author is our anime after watching the PV. Watching the first episode. Oh, she's a robot. Okay. Oh my god, what? She's human? This is ridiculous. What kind of technology do we have?
Yeah. Like she completely anticipated every viewer reaction. I think it's she, Kana Akatsuki. Sounds like a female name, but it could be male. I mean, it could be a gender bender name, like a pen name that's female for a guy that's male. But yeah, I think that reaction was absolutely intended. You were supposed to think that and be totally surprised. Oh, she's a normal human being, just totally with a totally terrible childhood, and so therefore never got to grow up into an actual human being experience.
It was a little bit. It was a bit more disappointment for me than surprise. And I was like, oh man, I thought she was gonna be a super cool robot or like a super cool like android.
I kind of felt the same, to be honest.
I can absolutely see that.
Robots are way cooler than just some random person.
Best would be if she had the free robot laws like in her now, newly written after the war, just so we get that Isaac Asimov reference. because we need that.
We do.
Always. It's one of those obligatory references, these stock parodies kind of things.
Now we just need Violet to get like hit by a car. And...
No, what if Violet the entire time is actually an isekai protagonist, and she's just pretending everything? Like if she's from an abused home, like a what you call it, or an orphanage, and she runs away from the orphanage, then gets hit by a car, and wakes up in a female body during the war, and gets picked up by that captain guy who gives her to his brother, and.
Is that
There you go.
Senki?
That's why she's so OP.
That makes
We've
way
solved it.
more sense than I initially anticipated when I just wanted to say this. Oh god. Violet Evergarden was an isekai series all along. You first heard it here.
It was as more of an isekai than Steins Gate, which we all know is an isekai. Clearly,
because he totally travels between alternative timelines. That's
timelines
isekai.
are different worlds. It's an isekai.
Yeah. Maybe people should think that instead
All right,
of
is that, have we said everything we want to say? Or?
did we?
I think so. I feel like I mostly got most of my feelings off my.
You triggered a number of what is it, KyoAni fans?
I don't think he
Did
triggered
we
as
set out
many
to
as
do?
he could have. Like there's some more savage opinions he could
Well,
have said.
we've got time.
I mean,
if you want to.
I
do
feel
that,
like KyoAni should just stop doing original content altogether because it's usually far more boring than the actual source material is.
There we go.
Like the first half of Violet Evergarden was really boring. It was like 4 out of 10.
Now you triggered all the KyoAni fanboys. Well done, Smurf.
And then when it finally got good was when they adapted the first chapter. So it's like, why not just start with the first chapter? Because clearly it's good material.
Well,
Yeah, I didn't get that.
and why did they have to ruin the
And-
fourth chapter? The chapter with
And I
Leon?
hear people saying, whenever I say that, people tell me, oh well, you couldn't start with the first because you had to have all the original stuff to build up Violet's character.
appreciate it.
Source readers didn't need it all. The source readers were totally fine with the first chapter as being the first. So why couldn't we?
Understandable.
It's all part of the Keikaku.
So,
So it's just KyoAni more just being
KyoAni.
yeah.
And, wow, of all the directors KyoAni has, it has to be the Kyokai Kanata guy, which had a questionable story line. So, obviously the best guy for this job. Definitely shouldn't have been like Tatsuya Ishihara, who we know is good at making adaptations based on stuff like Hari and Nishisho and Hibike. Yes, Hibike was not Naoko Yamada. She was just series director. He was the actual director.
I mean, at least it's trending upwards. It's the best it's been at the moment. And
Will it get better?
yeah, will it get better?
Will it get better or will I give it a 5?
There will be one good episode and the rest will be blah. That's my prediction.
No, the beach OVA is good.
I'll keep that in mind.
The beach episode, of course.
As long as they do it clever like they did for the Phantom World beach OVA, which was really, really clever. Where they had a monster that created bubble censoring. So everybody looked naked, but none of them actually were.
So matter.
Well, all right. I think we've said everything we wanted to say about
This
the
time
series.
we really did.
We're at about 30 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, 30 minutes is good. That's about what I expected.
That's good time to clock
Always
out, I
good.
guess. Well, this was a good episode. Check us out on Twitter with Tokyo Podfathers. Check out our Discord. We're pretty cool. We make memes sometimes.
More than sometimes.
Is it more than sometimes?
I think it's more than sometimes.
Okay, well, it's more than sometimes.
I've been
We
there
make
for like 2 days, so I haven't seen very many memes yet.
Oh, well, I've been busy. It's usually me who makes the memes.
Final message. If
But,
you can,
yeah.
and if you want to, go tell your mother you love her. She deserves it.
No.
Unless she
Unless
doesn't.
she doesn't, of course. Like, there are
Unless she
shitty mothers out there.
sucks.
I know that. But to all the people out there who have kind mothers that love you and you love them back, go tell them you love them.
Sure.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
We still have the sign up thing available because some people turn out to not be available at all, like a few. But
or
yeah,
Moz dies.
if you
and
still
need-
want to, if you still want to
you
be
need
on the
3
show,
guests.
we still got signups available. We're gonna have them open for the rest of the series. So yeah, have a good day. Wash behind your ears. Tax season is coming up, I think.
In the
I don't know.
US.
No, tax season's already over.
Oh well.
Well, I
fuck.
think it's still going because it starts in February. I think.
I think it
I
ends in
actually should-
April.
I actually should totally do my taxes.
You
Same.
should. It's important. Get that money.
Get the
Yes,
money.
I could use
All
the
right.
money.
Well, let's end this, I guess. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye
Thanks for
forever.
watching, guys.